Welcome to the DHL Supply Chain Pricing Power Index update. I'm here with the one and only Andrew Cox. Andrew, what's the latest?
Anthony, we kept it at 80 this week. It's kind of more of the same. The carriers are kind of solidifying their place, their pricing power at a pretty high rate. Again, this is a historical high. We've been doing this back since last September, so about a year now. This is by far the highest number that we've been at. We've been here for now. This is the second week in a row we've been at 80. And really, I mean, it's, again, more of the same. We see mo volumes, mo options. This gives carriers that have a lot of optionality right now, and they're exercising that. We'll get to the outbound tender rejection index in a moment. But, just continue to rise. We have to think that there is some rejected tenders baked into this outbound tender volume index, but in any case, volumes are up, 15, 20, 25% year over year. So volumes are very strong, and carriers are really enjoying that volume throughput.
That's right, and it's almost like every week I ask you, is this sustainable? And you let me know that there is not quite an end in sight, and it does seem that way.
Yeah, I mean, I personally don't think it's sustainable, but every week it just keeps going and going. So, I mean, we're seeing durable goods demand stay really strong. People are filling that service need, that service lack of spending with more goods. So we're seeing more people spend online. I mean, this is translating into every segment of the industry. We look at those China to West Coast rates. They're now above 3,000 for the second time ever. So there's a lot of demand. Goods, people are spending money, and that's really translating into freight volumes. So we got rejections, as Zach just said. We had about a 5-day little drawdown there. We had a multi-day decline in the outbound tender rejection index. That has picked up a little bit now, is now pushing upwards further. If we look at this on a historical basis, this is our same graph, just looking at it on a 6-month to full year basis. The blue here is 2020, 2019 in purple, and 2018 in green. We may hit that upper band. We're actually going to write a paper on this, I think, from the Passport team, where we talk about maybe what's the upper band of rejections before dynamics quickly change. You can see, I mean, here it hits 25 and it comes back down. It hits 25 and it comes back down. So we're thinking that there is some kind of band there, which means we may have a little bit more room to run on the rejection side. So this 21 might not be the peak.
And so when we're looking at these tender rejection rates, I mean, it's, as you mentioned, your team's going to be putting together that piece, but there was, I think, earlier on in the year, some disconnect between the rejection rates and the volumes. Are we still seeing some of that?
I mean, I think it's more stabilized now. Early in the year, we saw rejections spike up really fast as we saw volume spike up really fast. And in the second kind of run up here, we've seen volume slowly and gradually rise, and the same with rejections. Carriers were much less reluctant to reject volumes when they started spiking back at the end of April, beginning of May. But now that we've gotten to the point where this volume level seems sustainable in their eyes, they have been rejecting rates at rejecting contracted freight at a very high rate. And this is just, we're putting a lot of upward pressure on spot rates. This is the DAT long-haul van rate, and we're seeing rates nearing that 2018 peak. Again, blue is 2020, purple 2019, and green 2018, where we're just right there. We're just a little bit under $2 a mile. It doesn't seem like there's an end in sight. We've just been on slowly climbing. Carriers are still rejecting a lot of freight. There's still a lot of volume. There's still a lot of demand. So I think we're going to still see spot rates climb up a little bit higher.
Excellent. And you mentioned it earlier, your Passport team. Where can people find more insights from?
Yeah, you can always go to FreightWaves.com/passports. I know JP's team has put out 3 magnificent articles this week, as they always do. And then, all of our stuff's there on FreightWaves.com.
Excellent. And real quick, what are your expectations for the DHL supply chain PPI?
Next week, I mean, it's really going to depend on if volumes continue to stay up and rejection rates keep to push higher. I think we're going to see this DAT peak over 2 next week. I think we're going to continually to see that dial go to the right. I mean, we're almost towards the end there. I mean, 100 is the highest power that we could have to the carriers. We're already at 80, so this is a very dominant market for the carriers. And that's the thing about this market. Things change very quickly. Back in 2018, people were saying that that we're going to have a new normal, that things were changing for structurally. But then 3 months later, the entire market shift, outbound tender rejection rates, came down very quickly. So we may see that again. But right now, carriers are sitting pretty.
Excellent. Andrew, thank you so much. Insightful as always, and thank you so much for tuning in. That's going to do it for this DHL Supply Chain Pricing Power Index update. Be sure to tune in next week for all the latest.